Well, hello, everybody. Nice to see you over there. And I'm Dr. Nasi. I'm an integrative oncologist and an astrologer. This is my astrology and health season on my podcast, Conscious Life Podcast. So today we are continuing on the energy of Taurus. We started last week with a new moon in Taurus, and we started talking a little bit about this energy in Taurus and how bringing this awareness of each one of the zodiac energies can help us to live more consciously and be able to use our energies, to put them in practice in a healthier way, instead of being taken by them, being forced to act them out without consciousness. So we have 4 weeks in each of the zodiac signs according to the lunar cycle, which lasts 4 weeks. So we started last week with a new moon in Taurus, and today we'll go a little bit deeper in the Taurus energy. So today, this is a special hectic day for me, and I thought about should I do this or not? And it always, Taurus always reminds us that grounding, that calming down, bringing ourselves to this present moment is always very useful and very necessary for our health. So even in a very hectic day, to take some few moments to reflect, to connect with ourselves, to ground ourselves, it's very important. So I thought about doing a short session, a short live meeting, but precisely to allow myself to ground myself, to bring myself to this moment, and for a little while just let aside all these worries or all this to-do list I have for today, but just connect with you and allow myself to come to this present moment. So what I wanted to share today about the energy of Taurus, Taurus is one of the earth signs. And if we think about the earth signs, there's different types of earth. And Taurus has to do with a very fertile earth. The earth where you pour a seed, you put a seed and immediately it starts growing up. It's that dark, rich, very creative type of earth. And so it reminds us of our nutritious part, of which is the fertile ground where we grow our seeds in our different dimensions. So at a basic level, on our physical level, we can think about what is it that allows us to have a very healthy body, a very nutritious, well-nourished, a very healthy body, a body where any seed, anything that I do will be taken over. If I take over a new habit and start walking, how it will enrich that soil. And for this, we have been looking for the past decade or so and understanding how a healthier anti-inflammatory diet, for example, helps us to live healthier and prevent some types of cancer and even cardiovascular disease and other chronic diseases. So we know that now that nutritious diet is very important. And this is quite interesting, because if we look back, the effect that industrialized food has had on us, it's incredible, the impact that it has had on our health. And yesterday I was sharing a workshop with one of the nutritionists. I work here in Buenos Aires, and she was making the difference, the big difference between what is really a nutritious food versus what is a food product, which comes from the industry. And like industry in all its aspects can help us to obtain products that help us in our life. But when regarding food, when it's a processed food, let's say an olive oil, well, that's a process that helps us to get that oil and be able to use it in our home. But instead of having the olives themselves. But what really has been affecting us negatively is all this ultra processed food, the ones that when you read the labels, they have plenty of additives, of food additives, which are ruining the health of our gut. So again, going back to what nourishes, and a physical level, we know that a good diet obviously will keep us healthier, but also exercise and good sleep, they all allow us to have a healthier body. But what about the fertile soil of our mind and of our emotions and of our spirit? Because we're not only a body. So how am I keeping that soil of my mind in a healthy status? What seeds am I planting in my mind? And this has a lot to do with the thoughts and the beliefs that that inhabit our mind. So what is it that I'm thinking all the time? What type of conversation I have with myself? What type of topics take up my mind and keep swirling around with thoughts? So what occupies my mind? And just like in a garden, when we go to a garden, when we start pulling out the weeds and removing the soil in order to make a better ground to plant new seeds, the same we can do at any of our levels. So at our cognitive level or in our mind, what we can do is start detecting which are those weeds, those thoughts that really do not allow us to think healthy and creatively. So a lot of times we can, by observing, we can start realizing that our thought has a tendency to go, for example, to worries or more of a catastrophic type of thinking. So sometimes automatically our thought goes to what we call cognitive distortions. So once we realize that whenever there is something that catches me by surprise, where does my mind go? Does it always go to that catastrophic type of thinking that I'm always thinking about the worst might happen? Or does it go to preoccupying and trying to solve within my mind what's coming up? Or is it more of an all or nothing type of distortion? And so, for example, someone is supposed to meet me at some time or is supposed to call me at some precise moment and does not call or does not come to meet me. So what are my thoughts? Is it, am I worried because something might have happened to the person? Am I worried thinking that some catastrophe has happened? Or am I taking it, for example, she probably forgot, but this is what happens always to me. So taking it more like a victim type of thought and all or nothing. No, it always happens to me. Nobody cares about meeting me or respecting my time, etc., etc. So starting to understand how our mind works, we can start taking off those weeds, and once one of the thoughts distortions trigger out, then we can replace for a more conscious thought and repeating to myself, I understand something is going out of what was planned, and nevertheless I put the best of me to try to to face whatever is going on with an open mind and with an open heart. So, and repeat to myself and some type of phrase that will allow me to bring the best of me to this circumstance. So this is kind of how we would do with cleaning the garden of our mind, and then planting those new seeds, like these phrases that make me feel confident and make me feel that I can deal with a situation and put the best of me to face whatever is going on. And what about the emotions? So this is about the thoughts, but we can do the same type of exercise with our emotions. So there's this story about the two wolves inside our head. It's an Oriental story of a little girl that asks her grandfather about these conversations she hears inside her mind. And so the grandfather tells her the story about the two wolves, so that each of us have like two of these animals inside of us, and one is a more benign one, and one is a more a less benign, a more malignant one. And so we can make a reference to emotions, so we know we can feel and we can cultivate more encompassing, more loving type of emotions, like gratitude, like love, like compassion. But at the same time, we're human, and we are facing and experimenting emotions like rage and envy and jealousy and throughout our life. So the question is not to try to avoid what we call the negative emotions, but instead live them, because we are humans. We need to have those experiences, but which one are we going to feed? Are we going to try to cultivate more our loving emotions, or are we going to cultivate more our negative emotions? Also fear comes into this last category. So there are things that we can do, and thoughts and emotions go very much together. So by cleaning that garden of our mind and taking the weeds off, we can probably also plant seeds that will allow us to cultivate more loving, more encompassing, more compassionate emotions. So again, coming to the Taurus energy, and how do I feed my emotional being, and how do I maintain a creative and fertile emotional being. Again, and practicing gratitude, practicing compassion, having every day a little time to open my heart and share with others. And this is something we can cultivate, and something that will grow with time, just like in a garden. So again, if we're practicing gratitude, we will see that more and more we start having a more loving type of view towards the world, towards others, towards ourselves, for example. Or practicing compassion, or practicing connecting to ourselves, and being compassionate with ourselves, and grounding and bringing us to this moment, and leaving away all this anxiety of the mind for some time. So this is all things. This is how we can cultivate also our emotional being. And for a spiritual being, for that, spiritual meaning not necessarily religious being, but spiritual. What are our values? What makes sense for us? What drives us to go on living? And for that, I find, and you may find as well, that poetry and music and nice movies, and can be a way to cultivate our spirit, to get out of this materialistic world for some time and just connect with our spirit. And for this, I would like to leave you with the words of a song that I was practicing yesterday in my singing class. So I also take singing classes in order to cultivate not only my expression, but my spirit, to allow my spirit to come out. And it's a very beautiful song that you probably already know. For me, sometimes it's nice to get to the lyrics of these songs and just read them consciously. Just read them to see what it brings to me in this moment. So I will share with you just a couple of paragraphs of this song from Celine Dion, The Prayer. And it says, I pray you'll be our eyes and watch us where we go, and help us to be wise in times when we don't know. Let this be our prayer when we lose our way. Lead us to a place, guide us with your grace to a place where we'll be safe. And it goes on, and again at the end it repeats, let this be our prayer. Just like every child, need to find a place, guide us with your grace, give us faith so we'll be safe. So I hope these words will resonate, and just let your spirit resonate with faith and grace and safe, and feeling ourselves accompanied, feeling ourselves that there is a world we don't see that we can count on, and knowing that we're not alone, that we have other people living beside us, that we can ask for help. But also we can ask for help depending on your beliefs. We can ask for all these beings in this immaterial world, in this immaterial state, and know that we're not alone, and that we can ask for help and feel safe. So just let these words resonate with you and see what they'll bring and how they can nourish your spirit today. So with that, I leave you. I hope you have a plentiful day, a day where you'll have some time to enjoy and to really feel with your whole being, with your body, with your mind, with your spirit, that you're not alone, that you are alive, and that you can enjoy this day. Well, have a great week, and we'll see each other next week with a wonderful event in the sky, opening in the sky, alignation of the planets that will bring us more information to our conscious way of life. Bye-bye.